Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
What's going on in the kitchen?
What's going on, man? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. I didn't see you last week.
Yeah. I know.
You were on a video blackout.
I was. I was just, when we've got guests on it, I worry. Well, one, I worry my skate.
Well, you don't want it to be choppy either, right?
Yeah, and then choppy sucks too. So
I got a bunch of not to give Tim a bigger head than he already has, but
yeah.
Got a bunch of compliments from people.
Yeah,
and that was a really good podcast. I didn't realize Jax did that much, and
yeah,
what a cool idea for they're not a small retailer, but they're not huge. I mean, they're only 13 stores right now,
yep.
And they were amazed at how the onboarding and the amount of time and effort they spent.
I was amazed, and
that's crazy, for a small company, really.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot of a lot of very, very good compliments from that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I told Tim that. I said, but we're not going to invite you back on for a while.
One thing I was thinking about, I heard somebody else do that we don't do, but I think we're going to do. I'm going to go back to all of our podcast guests and ask them for a referral to someone that they either
oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I heard somebody else do it, and I was like, that's genius, right? Because I think that when we get these remarkable people on, they talk to, they hang out with remarkable people. And so,
or they've learned from some remarkable people. That's a great idea.
Isn't that clever? Yeah.
You so smart.
No, I'm not smart.
I like working with you. You one smart cookie. Speaking of cookies, my mom brought over fresh biscotti.
Yes. Mama.
My God, they're unbelievable. They're so good. I forgot to tell her. I think this might be the best batch she's ever done.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, they're so good. Oh my God, they're so good.
That's amazing.
So bad though, so addictive. Like, you cannot stop. They're so good.
So that's one thing I've been doing a lot of is not. I'm cutting down what I eat and how much I eat.
Yeah, it's hard to do though, right?
No, I've been super disciplined about it. I've lost about 5 pounds.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. It's just kind of,
it's small things, bud. It's just small things. Instead of having 2 pieces of bread at dinner, you have one.
Yeah.
You know what? Go for one proper serving. Don't go 2.
Yeah.
If you can skip the dessert every second night, skip it.
Yeah, and I kind of so I started doing this thing. So I started counting, not like to the last calorie or anything, but I started counting the amount of calories I take in. And then I started cutting out about 500 calories a day.
So how much are you eating?
So normally I intake about 2,500 calories, which is normal for an average male.
Yeah.
Right? 2,500 calories. And so every day I try and cut out about 500 calories.
That's about 2,000. 2,000 a day is not hard to do. You can do
that. Yeah. So I cut out 500. And if you do that, you lose about a pound a week.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't take long. I mean, it's not rocket science, right?
No.
You put 2,500 in, you spend 2.
Yeah.
You get 500 remaining.
Well, and I, it's what are we? We're in August now, right?
Yeah.
So I started this whole NIMI full-time plus the part-times plus the mentoring plus the, all this stuff in like January, right? So, or February, I guess I started. So, I kind of like looked up at the end of July and went, okay. So I kind of went crazy, right, with the amount of work that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And everybody hears it on the podcast. The last couple have been just oh my God, we're so crazy. And part of that along the way was just finding a little bit more balance as well. So one of those was, look, I travel a lot and eating is still, it's problematic, right? Like if I keep eating the way I eat when I'm traveling, whether for work or with the fam, I'm going to be like 1,000 pounds. Right. So I just,
no, I get it. I get it.
Right. So, yeah.
No, I get it. And honestly, when, I was thinking the other day, because my office time is going to go sideways and get to be way too much.
Yeah.
With the changes coming up. Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of, you're kind of thinking, oh, Jesus, it's too easy just to gain. It's too easy to eat, eating lunch is not a big deal, but eating lunch out every day is a big deal. If I brought a lunch, I might bring even 500 or 600 calories, which is a heavy lunch. I mean, it's not light, but if you go out, it's 1,100, 1,200.
Oh yeah. You're
doing nothing. It's the same shit you would eat in yourself. Yeah. It's just cooked better, et cetera, et cetera. And you don't eat the volume or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just too easy to, it's just hard, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's too easy to gain.
Yeah.
It's too easy to eat.
It's too easy to eat and it's too hard to lose.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, I've been doing that. I've been, the other thing I'm trying to do with all this stuff I got going on, I'm trying to behave more like I do a lot of leadership stuff already, but what I'm trying to do is shift thinking from kind of a strategic marketer, like a consultant, and then really think like a CMO. I kind of gave my mindset a promotion a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you realize like, all the things I've talked about us doing, outsourcing, the marketing stuff, thinking through things, it's kind of marketing director-ish sort of stuff. But, when you start to get into like strategy and guiding the company, kind of need to take that mental step forward and go even higher a step. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So lately that's what I've been doing is trying to, I realize that I don't have any CMOs in my life. So I've got to figure out where to find some CMOs that I can hang out and I can talk to.
You sent me that podcast.
Yeah. So that's what I've been listening to. And I
really think they're fascinating. The problem, it's not a problem. Problem I have with them, for lack of a better word, is they're just so, they're running,
They're so big.
It's just, it's like someone saying to you, I make $1 billion a year, and you're thinking, well, I might be worth a couple million, and that seems like huge to me. I don't even understand what making $1 billion means. I don't know. That number means nothing to me.
Yeah.
So when these guys are talking, I'm thinking, okay, these guys are in a whole different league.
So Kenny's talking about. So I sent Kenny this podcast I've been listening to called the CMO podcast. It's a little ironic because I've spent most of my life in companies, trying to reverse P&G's market share, right? Yeah. But the podcast host on this is Jim Stengel, who happened to be the CMO of P&G. So I probably spent most of my life fighting against Jim Stengel, and his mindset, because Jim Stengel was there when both you and I were in.
Oh, totally. Totally. Oh, no, he totally. Totally. But his thinking touched what we did for 100%. God, you better believe it.
God, I hate
like it or not.
But yeah. But so I've been listening to him, and Kenny's right. Like a lot of these guys are like, I think the one I sent you had, was it the lady from SAP or I can't remember.
No, you sent me the one. He was talking to the guy who was, oh shit. I wonder if he was from Google or what was he doing? Oh man, I can't remember.
I remember the one I sent you. The guy, what's his name? Armstrong.
Yes.
I'll remember it in a second. Actually, I'm not even going to remember. I'm just going to look it up.
Just look it up. I can't remember if you sent it to me on a text or.
Tim Armstrong.
Yeah. I found it very interesting. The challenge I had with it, honestly, it's just so outside of my league. Yeah. And so outside of my comfort zone. Not a comfort zone. It's just not in my league, right? And the thing is, when I'm listening to him, I admire them, and then I don't in some ways, and it sounds stupid, right? Because I do like small you came from big. I work for a fairly large, but I really, really like the small guy I work with now. So it's a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like what they say is the same thing you're sort of talking about. is I got to try to find a better balance. And
Yeah.
okay, fuck, at least you're focused, at least like you do marketing.
Yep.
And you do your consulting stuff, but you do marketing most of your day.
Yep.
That's your gig.
Yeah.
Like my day's a shit show.
Yeah.
Like I'm all over the place, and I'm thinking I got no balance. Then I do things okay. I don't do anything necessarily really well. I'm tactical for a massive chunk, and then I try to get strategic, but then the tactical takes it over. Like it just, I've got to try to balance this better to be a lot more strategic for some of the guys I'm working with, so that we're looking at it on a longer scope. And it's hard, right? Because you can't, you're trying to save the forest ahead of you while everything's burning behind you. And you're thinking, well, if I fight this though, nothing changes ahead.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out too. It's funny you brought this up, because I think maybe after that stupid podcast you sent me, I think, fuck, man, these guys all think different, right? And it's not that we think small, but we're just, I'm getting into so many other people's weeds.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not where I wanted to be. And I don't regret anything by any stretch of imagination, but I like it better. Like tomorrow and the next 2 days, all we're doing is whiteboarding, high level, next 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And not the 3 to 5 year plans or what everybody will tell you to do anymore. It's not like in the old days where they say you had to live by them. And now they tell you, because things change so fast, that you shouldn't do them, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I still think it's important
to you need a
try to map out a 3 to 5, understanding that in 6 months you have to tweak and adjust, because I think you should have a roadmap.
Yeah.
And if you change the road, you don't want to take Highway 3 anymore. You want to go 16. I don't give a shit. Take a different highway.
Yeah.
But you should have a direction that you're trying to go in.
But yeah, and you're right. Like, but a 3 to 5 is not about Highway 16 or Highway 3 or whatever. It's
not at that point.
I want to get to.
I want to get to X.
I want to go from Vancouver and I want to get to Seattle.
Yes.
Right. Or I want to go from actually,
it's bigger than that.
It'd be bigger than that. I'm in Vancouver and I want to get to Florida. How do I do that? Right. And like in 5 years, I don't give a fuck if I went all the way across to Toronto and then drove all the way down. If that's the way I got to go, as long as I'm going, right?
As long as I'm going. And if I had to detour Chicago, or go a different route, so what? So who cares?
Yeah. Right? I could go and spend 3 years in New Mexico first.
Whatever.
Across, whatever works. So as long as 5 years, my plan is still to be in Florida, or my plan got way bigger and now I'm in I overshot Florida and went all the way into the UK or whatever. Right. Like, yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think that's where I'm kind of. That's sort of. It's funny. It's funny, eh? How we end up starting on the same positions, but the same sort of thoughts. Where that's been sort of my week. Where I'm thinking, you know what, you got to get yourself. You got to get yourself out of the day-to-day tactical shit. Like you've got to get back to what you like to do and pull it back up a bit with all the clients, right? And that's why, like, even the budgeting is part of a greater picture. You're looking a lot higher level. Yeah, sometimes you're putting bullshit numbers down, or you don't, but you're looking at it and you're trying to logically think. So you set it up and now say to yourself, okay, now I'm going to talk to marketing. What are they going to do? And how's that going to spike the months as we go forward? And what am I going to tell the sales team to start looking at? And, how's this going to look in 2021 even? Like you're starting to do, it's just different, right?
Yeah. I think the thing, like for me, like it's different but the same, right? Is that like in working with Nimi and with Interlocate and with everybody else is, when you look at like there's so many things I could be doing, right? Like
I know.
There's so many, my day, like I think one of my days this week went from writing an internal press release to developing marketing copy for something I needed, but then taking a step back and really, questioning, does the company have a why statement? Do we know what we're going to be? Or, and then I look at what we're putting out and they're all kind of like, this isn't who we want to be. This is just what we do. Or
because you're working on what? So you know what you do. You know what you're developing. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, no, but that's exactly it, right? And so, like, I've been seesawing through this for so long now, and I look back at the podcast that we talked to, and we we do this, that I'm trying to take that step and go, okay, yes, I'm going to have to go back and do marketing copy. Yes, I'm going to have to do SEO. Yes, I'm going to have to do all these things.
Buddy, those are tasks that need to be done.
Right.
No choice.
But somewhere along the way, to keep this being worthwhile, I got to figure out how to get to the why. So, because at the end of the day, that's what I care about, right? Like,
right.
That's what we love, right? Is the whys, right? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why all the CMO stuff is, I'm just trying to elevate the game a little bit so that as I move forward, I really kind of like step into, look, if we don't have a why, we got to build the why. Here's why we got to build the why, because otherwise the what and the hows, really, anything, right? Like,
not really relevant.
Literally, you can wander around in the weeds forever.
Exactly.
If we don't have a why, we don't have a Florida, we're kind of fucked, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah, no, I totally
that's what I've been trying to do is I'm getting there, and I'm building, kind of what the framework looks like, at least for me, in terms of what I think about in the moments where I stop and go, wait, do I need to do this, or do I need to do the step before this? But it's really, I realize that, like, I think it means that I've got to figure out where I can find not these guys, right? Like, because I don't know that the former CMO of Google or the former CMO of SAP, as amazing as they are, can even help me, right? Because we're in
I think it's just too far out of our world.
But I do think I need someone who has experience with, smaller businesses and helping them guide strategically to bounce ideas off of, right? So, I don't know.
No, honestly, I totally get what you're trying to say, or what you're saying. I totally get it. And it's funny because it just seems like, I don't know. I've had so many people in the last couple of weeks, balance, you got to balance. Because, I'm probably working more than I should be working.
Yeah, you're definitely working.
Whatever. I mean, but that's a subjective comment. I mean, okay, whatever. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason I would tend to agree with that is not because of the hours I'm putting in,
mm-hmm.
or how much I'm doing. Like, when you start to question, how effective you are being for the people you're doing it for, that's when it starts to worry me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know I'm giving my clients,
mm-hmm.
my friends, value. I know I am.
You are.
I just wish, and again, it's all bullshit words, right? I wish I was doing more for them. I wish, I guess, could I be doing more? Should I be doing more? Am I doing the right things? Are they getting, or am I just all over the place? And you know what? That's great that I'm putting out 50 fires, but who gives a shit? If I can, if I put out those fires and control next year's burn, right? Then we don't have forest fires.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can do things to get ahead of the game.
But you almost, I think for you, we were joking about it. You remember we were looking for a term for you. We never really came up with.
No, we never had one. There's a lot of people out there that have terms for me, but they're not very nice. Should be a little bit nicer, people. I got feelings. I really, somewhere I do. Most people don't think I do, but I think I do.
I'm just thinking that part of your orientation might be about figuring out what why is for you, because you have a lot of whys. Right, you have a lot of whys, and then, but I think you need one.
But are they really whys, or are they a lot of just what's?
I don't know. It could be what's in house, right? Like, you're right.
I mean, are they really a why? Like, why do I? Okay, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do?
Yeah, why do you do what you do then? What's your why?
Mine is because I'm looking for the story. So, like, out of everything that I do, the one thing that kind of motivates me is figuring out what the story is. That's what makes podcasting so interesting, right? Is, you get a guy like Tim Dumas on, and you get his story, but at the base of it all is a story that fits in with everybody else's, right? And that my motivation is, when people listen to the podcast, they also understand, his why isn't different from my why, right? Or maybe it is, and why is it different, right?
But why is it different? So you look at, so what's your why again? Like, what's your why?
My why is the why I do it is I do because I'm looking for a story.
You're looking for the story.
Yeah. I'm always looking for the story, right? So why do I work for Nimi? Because they have an interesting story, and I'm committed to helping them figure out what that story is,
Yeah.
right? Why do I work with Interlocate? Because she's got a fucking amazing business, but she needed help figuring out what the story is. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
totally
in every case, that's what I'm boiling. But it took me a long time to get there, right? Because the start was like, look, like, I'm an entrepreneur. I need to do stuff, right? So I need to do stuff to make money. So I did that. But the more I get into this game, the more I sit with, if you don't have a story, I'm not that interested. I've actually met,
don't matter, Phil.
You know,
well, the money parts and stuff become secondary.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like last year I went to Global Pet, and I met a bunch of folks that had some really like compelling products that I think are going to make the marketplace and be amazing. But a couple of them, one founder in particular, was so focused on how he's going to sell the stuff. And I was like, I don't think you need to worry about selling it. Like, the whole reason that we're talking is because we're pretty sure you're going to sell lots of this stuff. Yeah. But what I'm really curious about is, why are you selling this stuff? And he was like, well, because it's a great product. And I was like, no, those are all what's, but what's the why, right? And like, he and I couldn't settle on his why, and I wasn't comfortable to go, okay, you are like, if I hitch my wagon to you and I help you with this, I'm fully prepared to help you with the tactics, and I can help you sell lots, and I'll make myself a lot of money. But I don't think you and I are on the same page at all for why this product exists or why it could be better. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then that was a moment that just went, you know what? Like, maybe I'm just not the right guy for you, right? Like, so I think,
but that takes some confidence, and that takes some experience, and it takes you have to get away from the money.
Some stupidity,
Well, but it's a little bit of everything, right?
Because
sometimes you do that, and the person turns out and kills it, and you could have made some money. But again, if that's not the motivator, right? Nope. I mean, I think you and I've talked from the beginning, and I think people like, why do we do what we do? Why? Because you like the story. You know what I like? I like to see other people. I love to help people be successful.
Yeah.
I love the win. I love for people. I love to see if we can change how people view things. Like I'm loving with the Jack's things, because if we can get more people to understand that, that there are differences in these liquor stores. Yeah. It's all commodity.
Yeah.
But the reason you would come to us is because, you know what? I shit you not. I mean, it's alcohol, and you got to be careful. But but bullshit, we can make your life better. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
You come to them, and they will give you the answers you need to. You'll leave, and that meal is going to be better. That party's going to be better. That celebration is going to be better. Like, just the gift giving, like everything you feel, you're going to feel great. And the person on the other end is going to feel great.
I feel like your why is, you're such a pure retail guy. Like, I think yours is like that retail has an art to it.
I guess so. I don't know.
Like, you're caught in doing the science of retail, right? So everything you do, like the SKU rats, right? SKU rationalizations, the 80-20 rules, the profit
packaging, how it looks, whatever,
forecast, blah, blah, blah. All of that is the science of retail, but what you're really fascinated in is the art of retail, right? Because what Jax does is like, that's the art of retail. Like, that's what makes retail so amazing, right? Like, it's
what'll keep it alive in this world of everybody going online and just sorting from bots,
right? Like, it's the same fucking science for the last 200 years. Like, it's Sam Walton with his five and dime, right? Like, he knew what we knew. We knew what he knew, right? Like, or most of it anyway. Not the money-making parts, but the rest of it, right?
Yeah, I need other things. He's had other gifts and other people around him that did great things, but the game is still the game.
It's the same. Yeah, the game is this game, but there's an art to the game. I think that's what do you know what I mean? Like, like, if I had to back up what you said a step, I think it's the art of retail. Like, I like that. I think it's kind of what it is. Maybe I just like, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, we're starting the project that Barry and I are working on with Carol, the pet company that we're morphing into I don't know what the hell we're morphing it into, sales and marketing, brand management. Who the fuck knows what we're doing? But they got Barry all excited now too, right? But it's the same thing. It's kind of really, at the end of the day, is
we gravitate, because I think Bear's in a large way the same thing, right? It's the game of retail. We just like to see, we want to go into someone's store who's struggling, and you wanna show them, all the hows and the whats. This is how you do it. This is what you do to make it happen. But then you sit back and you just look at it all play out. And you watch maybe their customers change and where they move to. You're thinking, man, there's a lot of cool shit you can do in retail. And move people to places that it's better for the owner operator, but you never lose sight of what the most important part, which is the customer. And you're actually giving the customer a much better end. And that's the beauty of retail. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, everything we do is about making money. Okay, we're not delusional here. Right. But it's not. The money is obviously critically important, but it's not. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's on par with that importance. Right. Satisfaction, happiness, a happy customer, happy staff, happy owners. Like just contentment. Like I don't know, man. It's funny. I'm sort of in the same boat. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell. Like I'm trying to figure out, like, just define the why. Maybe it is sort of the art of retail.
I think if I had to write your why right now, your why would be that you are, to use a millennial term, you're obsessed with the art of retail. Do you know? Like, or that you're in love with the art of retail, right?
I'm just in love with it. I think I really do. I just get. It's so stupid, right? I mean,
it's not stupid.
It is stupid because it doesn't save anything. I mean, be in love with trying to cure cancer. Be in love with trying to feed kids. Be in love with trying to do something.
Dude,
that's like
we all have callings. Look, listen. Like, we all have callings. I have a cousin. I'm a
shallow person, Phil.
I have a cousin who spent like 15 years in school. He studies melanoma. You don't want me studying cancer cells. I'll fuck it up. I promise you. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
He's going to save somebody. What are we doing? I'm going to give someone melanoma. You're going to save them from melanoma.
No, but you're going to give someone, what we do
is bullshit product.
What we do is more temporal. But you know what? There's a place for retail in the world, right?
There's a place for all of it in the world, because at the end of the day, if it can't sell, nobody does the research. Right. So if it's not marketable, it's just not going to happen.
Why is that you're in love with the art of retail?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. But I think, like, I don't know if it makes your what's easier now, though, right? Because it allows you to be able to march to, I think it allows you to be able to march to something, right? So when you start doing ski rats and all that kind of stuff, you got to look at it and go, guys, I'm doing it because what I'm doing here is part of the art of retail. So this is the parts that help you.
It is a part of retail. It's a critical part of retail. But I have a harder time when they don't do it.
But if they're not getting the license to be able to go, guys, let's back up a step. I thought we were going to Florida. Yes. Okay. Well, I counted the number of tires we have to make it from here to Florida. We're going to need to make 18 different tire changes along the way. I counted. We only got 16 tires. How the fuck are we going to make it? Right?
Like, we're not going to make it.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Maybe it changes your maybe it gives you a different focus on it. Might. I wonder if it helps you change the jobs you take.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you without, we defined it a little bit tonight potentially. The reason there's a few people. Barry and I are excited about a few potentials.
Yeah.
And we're excited about a few potentials because they're excited about what they're doing.
Right.
And they're excited about the portion that they're playing in retail. Like, they're excited about it. And there's a few others where it's more what your other guy was. I don't feel that they're doing it for anything more than the money.
Mm-hmm.
And as nice as that is, and I like money.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I honestly, I can't for the life of me get excited about taking the gig, because I'm thinking, if you don't give a shit, why do I give a shit? I mean, that's why I'm struggling to let go of, as my world changes, I'm struggling to let go of a few of the clients I have.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not going to. So I'm just going to end up working every fucking hour of the day because I don't want to let them go. Because you know why? Because they give a shit. And the people I'm working with really want to do it. And I'm feeling this immense sort of guilt that if I don't try and help, because it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to die because of a little extra work for a short period of time. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling that, you know what, because they're so excited, I want to be a part of it and I want to help them. I really do. I want to be a part of it.
But does that allow you to back up and help them in different ways now? Do you know what I mean? Like,
what I have to do is I have to reinvent me a little bit.
I can't
say, okay, what part is it?
I can't step in and do everything for you.
No, so I can't do this, and this.
How do I help you?
I'll help you here. So I'm doing sort of what we're talking about. It's, you know, it's a long-winded way to get back to sort of the beginning.
Yeah.
But with some of these now, I really am focusing more on the strategy.
Yeah.
Saying, okay, here's some quick tactics.
Yeah.
But let's look at the greater picture. Why are we doing this? Because what you're telling me you want to do and the reasons why you want to do it aren't being reflected in what you're doing or how you're doing it. So there's a mismatch.
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, this has been a week of, I don't know why we're on the same page on this one this week. I don't know. What's going on in your world then? You must be anxious about something, because I'm always anxious about something. So I know my issues. I got changes happening, right? So my world is getting a little more complicated.
Okay.
In a good way. But I know my issues.
Yeah. No, I think for me, it's just, I look at these clients I have, right? And some of them, like I'm working on, but the number of things that I'm doing and the number of different ways from, all of them, right? Like, from like writing content, press releases, like, and then you look at the mounds of content that, in marketing, you're kind of like, you're always trying to generate something that goes out in the world that, generates more attention, right? But as I start to look at the things I got to do, I realize, like, I don't have time to do all these things, right? So I can either spend my time and follow down a couple of rabbit holes and get some stuff done, or I've got to figure out how to back up a whole step and like get the companies I work for to either hire extra help along the way or to make very calculated bets.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
both are complicated though, right?
Yeah, and very complicated, but without that bigger picture vision, right? Like I think that's where you get a CMO. Like the CMO mindset is, I don't mean any disrespect. So if you're a CMO, I'd actually love to talk to you about it, but I don't mean any disrespect by it. I just mean that when you're a CMO, your mindset isn't, I got to do the work. Your mindset is, I got to figure out how the work gets done.
That's the important part though, right?
Right. But it's a material shift, right? Like from
it's a total shift.
Holy fuck, I got to get 18 things done.
It's not for me to do. I got to figure out how to get this done and get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Right. The challenge you have, or maybe this is why I had a larger disconnect with the two gentlemen talking. It's not that I didn't respect them, because I thought, oh my God, these people are amazing. But, I'm not working for companies with 50, 60, 70, 80,000 employees.
No.
I'm working with companies that would be lucky to have 50 people.
Yeah.
Like, and 50 on the high side.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with companies where
it's a party all of a sudden, right? Because there's 3.
Exactly. And that's a third of the workforce.
No, I agree.
But you know what I mean? So you're starting to think like, Jesus. I mean, yeah, I'd love to be, I'd love to pull it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But see, and that's one of the things, like this next 2 days, we're sort of talking about that. I think that what we're feeling with this one project is we may be a little on the top heavy. There's not a lot of employees.
Right.
But there might be not necessarily too many chiefs.
Yeah.
But the chiefs need to be doing their own chief things.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be
chiefdom,
chief of your own world, right? Not all the worlds, and not everybody doing the same thing, because you're wasting time, you're wasting energy.
Yeah.
If we're all competent, then we should be doing that. So this one thing we're sort of restructuring is, I'll manage more of the sales and marketing from a higher level. Another person will do the finance and operations. One of the owner will oversee it. We got a wicked national sales guy who was doing some of the management, not necessarily completely in his wheelhouse, didn't do a piss poor job at it, but it's not his thing. But he's a fucking ridiculous salesperson.
Yeah.
Great with relationships, all that shit. That's what he should be doing.
So send him out
and then a few of the others saying, okay, get in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sell, you sell.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily like to manage, I'll do it. You don't want to spend a lot of time in the spreadsheets and looking at the numbers and trying to figure out where we're going to go, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right? And get everybody to do what they do best. And maybe as a threesome in the next 2 days, we sit and we do the whiteboarding and we start to say, okay, what's Phil good at? This is what I want Phil to do.
Yeah.
And then it sort of does what you're saying, is that we can get to, it's a little tougher in small companies. We're still going to be in the weeds, but maybe less so. And maybe we do say that, you know what, it would be better to hire a few extra admin, solid people to support us.
Yeah, sort of.
We're not having to do that, because the amount of money we're going to waste, we're never going to catch it.
Yeah, yeah.
If we stay as admin, it's not going to work. It's not a good spend.
Yeah.
It's not wise.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think that's the thing. So I think that's what the bent I'm on is. I'm trying to elevate my game a little. I know these guys are too big for me, but I like to hear the mindsets. It challenges me, right? Because I like to think about, how do I flex differently? How do I think differently? What do I do that's different that maybe allows me to, step into a higher mind frame, right? Like,
well, the podcast obviously bothered me too.
Yeah.
Right?
Clearly.
Enough to the last 5 or 6 days we haven't talked.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked in probably, when did we do Tim's show? A week ago.
A week ago Thursday. So
right, because so it's a while ago. Right? So we probably had extra 4 or 5 days where we haven't talked.
Yeah.
And I guess it's been bugging me all the way through.
Yeah.
Where it's just gnawing at me that, like, am I doing the right things? Like, well,
Well, I think too, like, both of us love it, right? Like, we love
100%.
the art of retail, in the sense that, like, look, when you're a retailer, you have one job, but you really own the store in a lot of ways, right? Like, you just and so whatever happens in a store, you jump in to help out, because that's what happens in retail. But I do think that at some point, both of us, will go, look, it's cool that I was mopping the floor because that's what needed to be done at the time, but it's not really my job, right? Like,
it's not really my job. It's not my job.
Yeah.
I know how to do it, and I would never make you do it unless I did it or was willing to do it. But at the end of the day,
it's not my job.
A lot of money and a lot of time to mop a floor. Yeah. And you know what? The person who's mopping the floor is me 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you need to do that, my friend. You need to learn that.
And then
20 years or 25 years
to get more value out of your money for me, right? Like,
exactly.
I could
elevate your game, because you need to learn this shit that I learned.
Yeah.
That's your turn.
Yeah.
And you learn it, and in a couple years, we'll get you elevated as well. You know why? Because you've got a base. You've done it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to do all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be chief. What's the head chef and bottle washer, chief cook and bottle washer, whatever they express. You got to be able to do it all. But if you're doing that on a regular basis, which is what you and I unfortunately tend to do, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not good for your clients. It's not good for you.
Yeah. And so anyway, I think that's what it is. So I think for me, elevating my game, and then I'm kind of stoked.
Yeah, you're getting me stoked again too. Like,
Kenny is obsessed about the art
of retail.
I really like that. Like, I think not to redo your business model, but I think we go after all the elements of that, so you can start talking about, I think you reframe the way you look at retail, so that you can get to key components that allow, like, modules that allow you to move on. So the idea of, like, you think of, like, what Jax does, right? And, like, that teaching people to love retail, or teaching, I'm not suggesting you teach it, but I think there's a whole module for you there that you could be able to go to your clients and go, listen, like, I can show you how to build experiential with profit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can show you how to, I know how to do that. I can show you how to do that and drive more traffic in. But there are nuts and bolts that come with that, right? Like, because you can't make people happy in the store if you don't have the right SKU assortment. So have that or not, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's modules that I think you could kind of lay in place to help you build that into, like, kind of this framework, right? So
Fucking Sunday night thinking, man.
Dude, man, I'm excited for you.
Holy shit.
I know I just like fucked.
You're the one we're supposed to be helping too. How did it become project? Why is it always a project on me?
I love it. I love it. No, you know what? Like I also realize that that's the other part that I love the most is kind of being this foil. I like foiling and then helping people figure out what comes next, right?
But that's sort of what that's sort of the CMO side is as well, though. That's sort of what it's about, right?
Yeah. But that's why I'm trying to get there, right? Because I think that's what I want to do all day, right? So whether that's in a podcast, like I think I could podcast all day and really love it.
I think you know what, it's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I really could, like, if Squarespace or one of these guys, you want to sponsor us so we can do this all day.
You know what? I
might be inclined. I might be inclined.
Or at least 3-4 times a week. Like, and you know what I really enjoy, and I like your idea, and I think if you want, I think we should go back and reach out to some of our previous guests and say, listen, I mean, who in your world inspires you? Or who do you think's just got a cool story to tell?
Yeah.
Let's have them on. I love the guest ones.
Just obsessed with right now, right?
Yeah, and like who do you just think? You know what? These people, and it might even be this. They don't have their shit together all the way.
Yeah,
but man, they got a wicked story that if they just got a little poo, and maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging it too. Like I do. It's funny. I mean, I do look forward to doing the podcast, and I like.
Yeah, I like it.
And trying to, sort of recap how my week went and what I was thinking, or.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And we've got some great fans. I mean, we
got some good friends.
We got some good friends. We got another shout out from GR Wong, who loves the podcast. He's an old friend, but I don't see him much. Jeff Wong. But I love that he listens to the podcast, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Some big topics today.
Just all philosophical. Like we're just,
topics. Yeah.
But that's 2 or 3 glasses of wine I had before dinner. But my God,
that's okay.
I've
stopped drinking wine. I've stopped drinking beer. The only thing I'll do, I've been sipping tequila, like little, like clean, neat sifter,
wrong with that.
Of reposado of some sort.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Kind of my thing now. So yeah, it's funny.
Look at you. Look at Joe Slick, man. You're just
whatever.
You're just a big leaguer. Just a big shot.
No, I'm
big
like
shot.
I'm like a little fish in a very little puddle. That
means you're a big fish then.
Sure. Yeah.
You're a big fish. That's it, man. Listen, if you're the biggest fish in a little puddle, you're the big fish.
I know, right? All right. Hey, so we actually we need to tell the audience this for reals now, right? Is that Kenny and I are going to we're going to Global Pet. February. So it's official. Kenny and I are both speaking at Global Pet.
That's recent. Oh my God.
Oh no, it's going to be kick-ass. So if you're a pet retailer or a pet brand, you're listening, hit us up because we're going to go. And then the other thing that it looks like we're going to do, but we got to work out all these details with Global Pet, is that we'll probably do the podcast live on location.
That'd be cool, man.
So again, if you're a pet retailer or pet brand, you're going to be at that show, hit us up, because you're a listener, you probably get preferential treatment on getting on the rotation so that we get an interview with you.
Oh man, if we could do a couple interviews at the pet show, like even if it's in the hotel rooms later or in the lobby, if we could bag 3 or 4 interviews and
good.
Oh my God, I'd love highlighting people's shit. People know. I mean, if they listen to us, we like the story.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, I love the story. I love to know why people do what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, so super cool stuff. So
that's awesome, man.
We are going, and you'll
We're
hear
big,
more.
baby.
So,
We're big.
we're big. We're going big time.
Yeah, pretty soon Linda's not going to be able to boss us around anymore. Pretty soon.
Until she buys Global Pet or something like that.
I say another 4 or 5 years, and then that'll be it. Linda, can't boss us around. We'll be too big.
I know. Oh, yeah, right. And that's the other thing. So I owe at least Linda an apology. So it was my fault. I know Kenny got some shit.
But I get all the shit for these things. She's got to learn. Linda, it's not me.
Linda is totally Kenny's fault.
It's Phil. I don't know how to do any of it. Someone asked me the other day. Hang on, we were talking to Jackson, and Timmy goes, "Well, how do we do a podcast?" I said, "Well, Phil sends you an invite, and then you go on, and then you talk a little bit, then you say goodbye.
Something happens in the background,
and like on Monday night, which I thought was Tuesday mornings, apparently it's not anymore. I said it just goes on. He goes, "Well, how does it happen?" I said, "Again, Phil sends you an invite, you go on." I said, "You're not listening." The fuck do I know how it works? I don't know how it works.
No, so my father-in-law has had kind of a bad run lately, and he actually fell down last Sunday, right? Shit. So we were kind of running around, and it's kind of that, like, he just he's 80 something. He wasn't going to make it up the stairs. So we had to find him a good bed and get him all set up and everything. And my wife's family, this is their first, it's amazing, right? It's such a blessing, but it's their first moment where they've had someone who's not been healthy.
Oh, wow. Really? Well,
very
fortunate.
Yeah. And really fortunate, right? And so my side, my father's has advanced Parkinson's, and then my grandfather lived to 104. So I'm kind of, like, people walking around in walkers and wheelchairs is kind of commonplace, right? So I went over and went, nope. All of this needs to go away. We need to buy bed. We need, so Monday night was like me running around,
trying to help
geriatric, central in the living room, right? So, So we got home, and then I just, so then I got your text, I think Tuesday morning, and that's when I was like, oh, the podcast. Oh shit. So I think when you texted me, I literally was producing it, going, I'm producing it. It'll go up immediately, funny. Right? Like, so, yeah.
Well, and it's funny because I don't even know why. Oh, you know why? I was in Toronto, right? On that was this week, right? No, that was last week.
Oh no, yeah, it was last week. Yeah, you're in and out, right?
That's right. Last week I was in I got in Tuesday and left Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that's what so I thought at the airport, I'll just take a listen to it. Cause I told you, I do listen to, I know that, I don't know, that's probably narcissistic or something if you listen to your own podcast, but I do because I just want to make sure that we don't sound like complete morons.
Yeah.
Because we spend so much time organizing and planning our podcast. I want to make sure that it basically, all the hours and hours and hours of work we spend prior is worth it. Right.
Yeah.
The whole 2 minutes. I make a cup of coffee and I'm lucky to be able to see my cat.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, what a loser.
Oh my God.
And you can tell, like, the sun's gone pretty much down, so I blacked out and I'm too lazy to get up and turn the light on.
Oh, no, whatever.
It's all good.
Whatever. It's cool, man. Yeah. It's cool.
That's it, buddy boy.
Yeah, it's good. Everything's good.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. Up another one, and we shall...
Yeah, and then let me know. Like, I'm really serious about that. So this part won't make the recording, but if you want to think, like, if the art of retail is something you think could fit for who you are, we can go back and figure out, like, how to.
I like it, and I'll tell you why. I think it's going to define. It can help define Cardan.
Yeah,
but it also can help define Kikoji.
Yeah,
because I think what Kikoji needs to be.
Kikoji is the one that you're doing.
It's the one with Barry, Carol, and myself. And I think it's one of those ones. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
That, what would we offer different as a brokerage, brand builder, sales and marketing team that's not being done? And I think it is. It's that passion and that love of, the art of retail. And I think that's sort of I'm really liking it because I'm not too sure how to articulate it well, but I like it.
I think, like, for Cardan, it maybe helps you stop some of the stuff that you feel like doesn't fit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because like you can do ski rats all day, right? But
yeah.
And there's
You
no
should
reason
just
you
teach that,
shouldn't,
though,
because
buddy.
it's good money, right? Right?
Well,
Do you
the
know what I
thing is,
mean?
there's an economic play to it
Yeah, yeah,
as well, but it is not necessarily the fun play. I mean, really, what I should do with ski rats is just teach you how to do them,
yeah.
right?
But I think this becomes your defining moment, right? Is you
Yeah,
really go, look, I can help you do that if you want, but you know
yeah,
what? There's no art in it for you, because you're going to do the ski rat, but it doesn't make your front shop. It makes you more efficient, but it doesn't make your front shop better.
yeah,
So I can show you how to do it, and then you can do it yourself, right?
yeah.
Or if you want me to help you figure out how to make your front shop better, then I can figure out how to work the ski rat into the proposal,
And I
right?
think that's sort of what the trick needs to
Yeah,
be, because
yeah,
the skew rat is just a what and a how,
yeah. It's just a
right? Why it's
just
why are you doing the
purpose.
skew
Yeah,
rat? Like,
yeah,
what is the purpose of doing it?
yeah,
I mean, the what's and hows are obvious.
yeah,
How you do it, you just go through.
yeah,
What you do is you take out the low line or whatever.
yeah. But
Why you,
why? Why do you need to do it, right? Like,
and
so.
it's not about reducing inventory.
Yeah,
That's not a why. That's a result,
yeah,
right? It's not about better turns. That's a result,
yeah, yeah,
right? The why you're doing is because you want to make the experience for your customer when they come in that much better.
yeah.
You want to make life
I think
easy
so
for them.
too.
You want them to be able to find
Yeah,
what you're trying to tell them to find
yeah,
more quickly,
yeah.
right? That's why you do a skew rat,
I agree. I
right?
agree.
Or anything else that we're doing.
Yeah. But I think that's the anchor, right? Like, I
I
think
think you're
that
right.
becomes the why, right? Like, so that you really do, and then you can, and then I think even for you, you'll start to go, all right, I'm not, because you do not take jobs for reasons now, but
Yeah,
this
for
one gives
sure.
you like a full, like, look at, it's not in that, you know.
You can
I
probably
don't
leave
I
this
don't
on the
make your life.
podcast. You know that, right? We haven't said anything proprietary,
We
and I
haven't.
think
Yeah.
I still think it's stuff that people need to understand and
Yeah.
think about. And
Yeah.
again, we're in different stages right now. Is that
Yeah.
we've gotten to the point where I'm not worried about next month's billings. I'm
Yep.
not worried about the next 6 months of billings.
Yep.
And that's not to be arrogant or cocky. I mean, anything can
No, it's
happen,
just,
and that's
it
not an
is what it
issue.
is. Yeah.
But I'm not
Yeah.
worried about it because I
Yeah.
know I can find things. I'm really, really in that part. I have no anxiety on that part anymore. All
Yeah.
my anxiety right now is to make sure that I'm doing the right things and the best things I can for the people that I'm
Yeah.
doing them for.
Yeah.
And then that really needs to come back to the why
Yep.
of why I'm doing this, because otherwise it's not, I will give them a good result, but it's not the right thing.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I agree. I agree.
now you could
Awesome.
probably leave this in. I mean, I think it's kind of
Yeah.
summarizes where we're
Yeah.
at.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's
Okay, my
very
friend.
cool. All right, dude.
I think we're going to go
Good
watch
night.
a movie or something.
Oh, nice. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
think I'm going to just skip working tonight. It's enough.
Yeah. Good for you.
You're midnight, go to bed.
Yeah. I've got a couple of things that I'm going to bed.
Yeah, you also got to remember tomorrow's Monday. I don't want to tell you what that means, but I don't want a text from Linda, okay? I don't want Linda yelling at me in a text.
It's all good. It's all good. Tomorrow night, this will go up.
You did not upload the podcast. Fix it. Okay?
All right. You got it. You got it.
It's enough. Believe me, a lot of chances here, my friend. A lot of chances. I don't know what's going on in your world, but you're getting a little sloppy.
All right. Go watch.
Okay, buddy. Sounds good, man. We'll chat soon. Ciao.
Okay. Bye. All right. That's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.